We're back at Voorhees University Media Day. We have assistant coach James Williams here. Coach Williams, another big season for Voorhees University. What have you seen so far from the team as they start to gel together as practice has begun?
I think you've had multiple interviews. You'll hear this probably over and over again. I don't want to continue to be the dead horseman, but these guys really are locked in with each other. We preach family on every recruiting visit that we've ever had here, and it truly is that. These guys like each other, but they also are competitive. So what we're seeing in practice is guys that are going at each other, but in a way that is building up their brother next to them and us as a staff. So we're going to have some decisions to make here. We've already had some interesting conversations in our staff meetings just about lineups and things of that nature and the possibility of what could happen. But the best thing about this particular group of guys that we have here in 2022 is just their togetherness, which I know Duke used the word brotherhood, but these guys, they really do have it. I just had a parent call me 20 minutes ago, and she was like, my son keeps saying everything is good. And I said, well, ma'am, if I'm calling you, then we got problems. But I was like, he's been around his teammates, and they insulated him to the point where she's like, whenever he just keeps saying good, 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 normally it's not good. But I said, man, he hasn't had any problems. And one thing that I can say is from an academic standpoint, our guys actually do work together. Like they do their class work together because we have a couple guys that have the same class together. So when we talk about, and we use that word family and they use togetherness, it really is like that. And they really are bonding together.
Coach Williams, I see you out on numerous occasions as one of the top recruiting coordinators for Voorhees. I want you to please expand on what do you look for when you're looking for somebody that is a possible fit for Voorhees University?
Well, the first thing I tell a lot of people is it starts with the top down. Coach Huff has laid a clear picture of what he wants to coach, who he wants to coach, not what he wants to coach, but who. I don't know the what, but the who. And it starts there. It starts with the top man. And then we just trickle down from there. I think over the past 3 years, he trusts my opinion and my evaluation of players. I've gotten better as an evaluator. But to answer your question, the first thing you want to look for is basketball character. I look for the intangible things, especially if somebody brings me a kid that I trust and there's a relationship there. I'm looking at the other things. How is he walking in and out of the huddle? If a teammate makes a bad play, what's his response? How is he responding to being coached when somebody gets on him? I'll start with those. Basketball characters are very good, because if I'm watching you, there's already some level of interest. If I'm at a court, and then we look at translation to fit for us. We run a specific type of offense. Coach Huff looks for a specific type of skill set that a player has. Is he multi-tool? Is there room for growth? I think that's a big thing with the evaluation I've learned. Where is his room for growth? Because as I'm watching, especially if it's somebody that's already on our board, I'm already trying to break down his game to figure out how I can help that athlete. Or I'm looking at the holes in his game to see how that fits the next level. And then you go into the other aspects. What is his work ethic? Is he working on the things that are not good? And then probably when it comes to team evaluation, I'm very curious as to what the high school coach is running and how they fit. So during this particular season, I'm kind of over the individual camp thing. Like you've seen the kid a bunch of times. The individual camp thing doesn't really show anything as far as how it relates to us. So now I'm interested in what is his team? Is he a winner? Does he make winning plays? Is he running what the coach asked him to run? What is the coach running? And then probably the very last thing is what's the skill set? How does that translate to our needs? And so all that factors into the meetings that we have on Tuesdays as a staff before we hit the road. What are we looking for? What do we need? And then, if there's wild cards. So all that plays into the effect. And then the very last thing, which is where I, as a recruiting coordinator, is academically, how does he fit with us? And not just GPA, but if I get a transcript, what classes did you take? How do they translate? What do you want to major in? Because do we have that major here? If we don't have that major here, is that a determining factor in where you're going to go? And those are all part of the relationship building aspect. But before you get to that, the evaluation piece is so key for us. And Coach Huff makes that known. We live in a small town. If you do something here, everybody's gonna know about it. So if you have character issues and you can't handle yourself appropriately, because we give our guys a lot of leeway when it comes to accountability. And so we want guys that are high character guys off and on the court.
Okay, and I'm glad you touched on character. You know, character goes a long way, whether it's on the court or off the court. You know, I hear a lot of these guys have big aspirations, you know, to possibly play professional. What does Voorhees do to prepare them outside of basketball?
Oh man, that's a great question. So first of all, it starts with our leadership series. So on every Wednesday, there is a leadership component that we're giving to the young people. That's outside of basketball. Whether that's a guest speaker coming in, whether that's us doing stuff. We talked about love languages. I got every guy on the team love language. I can tell you how they want to be talked to, how they want to be served, you know, because again, it starts from the top down. Coach Huff puts that's implemented early. And then we talk about the disappointment, how they handle disappointment. Especially with these young athletes now, so much pressure is put on them at such an early age to be successful. How do they handle when things don't go right? Because all those things translate to life. Coach Zai, man, who's an amazing young coach, talked about yesterday in practice. Not everybody's going to go pro, but every man on our team is going to be a provider. He's going to have to provide, whether that's himself or a family. And so those things are key components. My job here on campus as an academic coach serves in a way as well as somebody who talks to them outside of basketball. How do you handle your schoolwork? How do you handle your professors? How do you do business communication? How do you write emails? How do you dress? We have a component where, the goal by the time all these guys, our new class graduates is I want them to have 3 suits with multiple shirt combinations, with brown, black shoes that they can wear multiple ways. You know, because a lot of these young people come to campus, especially if you're a business major, because here on this campus, you got to dress in business attire if you're a business student. So a lot of them don't come to school with slacks or a shirt. So we want to progress. We want to develop the whole man. And we'll tell every student, athlete that comes, we don't care about your 4 years. That's important. We care about the 40. We want to be invited to your wedding. We want you to call us and say, hey, I got a kid on the way. I got a new job. I'm buying a new house. For us, it's about the next 40 years. Because as John Thompson said, when the air comes out of that ball, you can't bounce it no more. These guys are left with themselves as men. And so we don't want their sole identity to be them putting the ball in the basket and getting cheers from the fans. We want their identity to also include them getting cheers from their wives, their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, their bosses. You know, we want them to be complete men, mind, body, and soul, holistically. That's something that we're very adamant about.
I like that. I really do. So let's touch on you as a coach. Coach Williams, how early does your day start?
So currently my son is with me on fall break, so I've got excused to be a little bit later. But my day starts at 4:45. So prior to this season, I had a goal of trying to beat Huff to the office, but I've given up on that. So the goal is to try to be in the office by 5:20. Normally I'm the last one here in the office, kind of preparing for the next day. But I'm up at 4:45. I'm in the office by 5:20. I'm on the practice floor probably about 5:40. I try to get there 5 minutes before the guys have to be stretched. And then we'll spend the next 15 minutes just kind of gauging the room and doing those things. So about 5:20, I'm in the office.
And one of the things that people don't understand, like, yes, that's part of your everyday, but they don't understand the travel part of it as well. So even when you're done with practice and on the weekends, you're at events for JUCO, post-grad, high school, and that can be another extra 10, 20 hours a week.
Right. We keep a busy schedule because what I'm learning as a recruiting coordinator is you're always recruiting, whether that's through email, my Twitter. If you look at my Twitter DMs, it's hundreds, and I got 1,000 DMs in the past couple of years. I jumped on some Twitter spaces and just said, I'm a Voorhees assistant head coach, and kids just send you stuff. So you're always evaluating film. You're always coming across clips, watching other coaches and what they post, offenses, defenses, and things of that nature. And then you have your 19 guys that you have here on campus that you got to tend to. I tell people my day it might end at 10, but I'm up at 4:45, and emails are always coming through. And then I also have an on-campus job that I have to maintain as well. So yeah, my days tend to run a little long, but it's what I love to do. It's what I committed to, and I guys probably Zai probably said this if he did his interview, but man, working for Coach Huff, he makes like it is not hard. You know what I mean? Like you want to do well for him. Like, and our job is to support him. Our job is to see his vision through. And I was looking at the quote earlier. The head coach's job is to get the program to the ceiling. So our goal is to help him get this program to the ceiling. And hopefully, you know, I think my job is to help him find another better job. You know, not to say he's gonna leave Voorhees. I don't want Ms. Johnson to panic or anything like that. But when you're as talented, as gifted, and as passionate, and as determined as he is, somebody out there has to be like, man, this is the kind of person that I want on my staff to elevate my program, which opens up opportunities in other places for other people. So when you want to have success for the person that you want to work for, more than you want for yourself, man, it just breeds for a good opportunity and a good space, regardless of wins and losses. We've done some amazing things here academically that I'm extremely proud of.
But let me ask this, James. The expectation is high every year for you and Coach Huff to do well in the conference as well as possibly reach the NAIA tournament. What drives you to get a taste of that NAIA tournament again, man?
Our quiet, man, it's just, we want to be the best. Last year, HBCU got to the championship game and lost. The goal is to be one of the few HBCUs at the NAIA level to win a national championship. If that's not enough, especially what's happening in the SWAC and the MEAC and the notoriety that HBCUs have been getting, for us to drive and to work to get to that place would be phenomenal. It would be historical. And to do it here in little old Denmark. Because prior to me coming here, I had no knowledge of this place. And then now, you know, after having been here 3 years, it's like, man, I can't think of another school that I would want to put on the map further than what we already have than here at Voorhees University. And our motto from our 10th president, Dr. Ronnie Hopkins, is taking it to the next level of excellence. How amazing would it be to get to the national championship game and actually winning for all the HBCUs that have tried and strived? The school's been around 126 years. And for Elizabeth Evelyn Wright to be only 23 years old when she passed away, to not see the full fruition of her vision, but to know that little Black woman started something in Denmark, South Carolina in 1897. And then in 2022, you reached the pinnacle. How amazing is that for a legacy, for somebody who was so young that had dreams of just helping African Americans get education? That's powerful.
Absolutely. And in closing, man, for these young kids that are watching that are possible 2023s, why Voorhees, Coach Williams?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. If you want to come to a place where people are gonna be honest with you, but at the same time love on you, like I'm talking real love. The one thing, and I didn't go to a HBCU, but the one thing that I can say, if you choose a HBCU, people are invested in your success. They're invested in you thriving as both a man or a woman. They're invested in you being successful past the 4 years and past the degree. But the reason why Little Old Voorhees is because what we're building here is amazing, and it's groundbreaking. I would say because we're ultimately rewriting what it is without all the resources and bells and whistles. We're rewriting the script that you can come here, you can focus on basketball, you can get a great education, you can have fun with people in a little small area, and you can do big things in small places. So.
Hey, man, Coach Williams, we wish you all the best this year. I can't wait to see the first scrimmage as well as the first game of the year, as well as, you know, I always want to see the rivalry game this year since I never got a chance to get a taste of it, you know, with COVID and everything. And I'm expecting this year to be a real exciting year for Voorhees, man. And I wish you and Coach Huff all the best, okay?
We appreciate it. We appreciate it so much. Please come out if you get an opportunity to come see us.
Definitely. Thank you.